Good morning, market snappers. Welcome back. This is Jesse. We're getting started right at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, right on the dot as usual. If you're new to the live stream, awesome. Welcome. If you're returning to the live stream, even better. Good to see you back on here. We will cover on the first half of the live stream, we will cover Bitcoin, altcoins, stocks, anything else that jumps out on the watch list. And on the second half of the live stream, we will cover your chart requests. On this one, we're looking at the Bitcoin daily chart. We're going to jump right into it. We got a lot of things to do today. We're going to get this one rocking and rolling. Bitcoin, hold or fold, right? So we're going to take a look at the daily chart. We're going to take a look at the weekly chart, 2-week chart, 3-week chart, monthly chart. Just as usual, we'll take a look at the higher time frames to determine overall direction and, of course, where we're at right now on the daily chart. So let's jump right into it. Help me, help you, help me with algorithms. I'd appreciate it. Smash the like button, repost, restream, share with your friends and family. All of the above. Help me out. I appreciate it. I'll help you out. You help me out, and we'll continue to sniper the markets together. So with that, West Diddy, 4825, longtime buddy. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Good to see you on here, my man. We gotta catch up for lunch. It's been a couple weeks. Jackson Bonet dash F7P. Hello. Welcome. So with that, this is what we're looking at, the Bitcoin daily chart. And there's, since talking about on October 6th and even before October 6th, as it was starting to look like a possible Wyckoff distribution, right? We cover Bitcoin dropping, not because we're a perma bear. When Bitcoin was breaking out January 4th, 2023 on the bull run, we were talking about before there's bullish divergence. We laid out the buy the right dip before it happened. So that's what the reason why we're talking about the bearish charts is to buy the right dip. We still want to accumulate more Bitcoin. So don't let that get lost in the message that Bitcoin's going down, or me talking about talking heads calling for $250,000 Bitcoin. We want to be on the right side of things, and we'll do our very best to see the chart with a clear lens without becoming too bullish and without becoming too bearish, right? So if we just look at the chart as it is, price hasn't done much since November 2020, November 20th, 2025, right? It's basically the same price, 88,500. It spiked up a little bit. If you look at it from here, it spiked up, 10%, and it dropped almost 9%. So it's basically been sideways for 2 months. Bitcoin and assets typically spend more time consolidating and less time making big moves. So there's a lot of patience required. And a lot of the capitulation is time, right? You open up your Bitcoin chart every single day. And every single day, you're waiting for this big move to happen. And then 2 months go by. And still not a big move has happened, right? And if you zoom out a little bit, it's actually the same price as it was November 11th, 2024. So even zooming out, you're looking at, in the last 14 months, there's a 43% increase and a 15% decrease over a period of 14 months. So it's not huge swings like 2014, 2013, 2016, 2017. People wanted institutions to come into play, and they're here. And it's great for swing trading, right? But the bigger the asset gets, probably the less wild big swings to the upside. Because, for example, the last time Bitcoin had a blow off top was 2017. That was the last time. It only took 250 billion Bitcoin market cap to increase. The market cap to increase $250 billion for a blow off top. Now we see a large move like this, 86%, to move, and the market cap moves $1 trillion, right? So there hasn't been a blow off top going all the way back to where the price increased or it moved 400% in a short period of time, right? It's because the market cap only had to move 250 billion. Now it has to move $1 trillion to have a big move up. Has to move $1 trillion to have a big move up. $1 trillion to have a big move up. $1 trillion to have and $1 trillion, right? So to have a blow off top that everyone keeps talking about since 2017, it just hasn't happened. And I think the main reason is because the market cap would have to move 10 times that amount, 2 trillion or 2.5 trillion market cap increase to have a more of a blow off top, or a 200% move, or 175% move in a short period of time. It takes a lot more to move the market cap 10 times more than it did back in 2017. So, but here we are, obsessed with charts. We cover Bitcoin every single day, 30 to 45 minutes of the live stream that lasts an hour or so or more. And we talk about swing trading, right? So swing trading and looking at the Bitcoin charts, but also not even just swing trading, but investor trading as well, because we do look at the weekly chart. We do look at the 2-week chart. We do look at where price could go back to like the 200-week moving average on macro higher time frame, where to buy the right dip is better, in my opinion, than dollar cost averaging the whole entire way down. I know that's not the strategy for talking heads or the sailors out there, but it doesn't mean it's not a better strategy, right? So, well, Jesse, that's impossible. Is it? Is it? I think I've proven 2021, 2022, then proving that you could buy the bottom January 4th, 2023 at 16,800, and then prove that we're going into another correction and it dropped 36%, right? So I think I'm proving it in real time the last 5 years or so, right? So here we are. Bitcoin daily chart. Let's put it on the drawings. A lot of people are calling out a bear flag on the weekly chart. It does look like that. So that's something to be aware of on the weekly chart. There's, you could say it's a bear flag. It's close, though. It's close because if this is the pole, the flag pole, you don't want the flag to be longer than the pole. And it's currently shorter. And if you look at it kind of zoomed out, you can see that the pole is longer. You just don't want that bear flag to be actually longer than the pole. So the weekly chart probably looks more like a bear flag than the daily chart. So let's look at that real quick. So if you get the pole, bear flag / wedge / whatever, right? So, yeah, I mean, and if you do the target of that, right, it brings you back down to, say, the 200-week moving average, which I've been saying is my thesis from day one, from over here on October 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, around that time, was talking about Wyckoff distribution, The weekly chart has bearish divergence, blah, 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 right? All the things that we've been talking about every single live stream since the correction was starting after making a new all-time high at $126,000 Bitcoin against the dollar. And, this could still, right? And even go below the 200-week moving average. So, like it has in the past. And in the past, Bitcoin has actually gone 30% or more below the 200-week moving average. So that would actually bring price back down to $40,000 if it were to play out exactly the same. But so far, the bull run was lesser to the upside compared to 2021. The initial drop of 36% is lesser to the downside than 2022. And then the relief rally is lesser to the upside compared to 2022 of March, April. And so if the logic continues or the sequence or the similarities continue or the patterns continue, then we could see a lesser to the downside percentage-wise. So lesser to the downside. And so we have longer term targets. And in previous bear market, Bitcoin hit longer term target 5. Longer term target 5 would be around that $40,000 range. So what if it only hits longer term target 4 this time, since it has been lesser to the upside and lesser to the downside? And will it break that pattern, right? That's been the pattern. But the pattern before that was outrageous moves from 2013, 14, where price goes parabolic, and then it goes into an 88% correction or 86% correction, and so on and so on. And whereas 2021, 2022 didn't have the parabolic move because it takes more to move the market cap, but then it also had lesser to the downside of like 74% or 70, 75, 76%, somewhere around there. So it was lesser to the downside. And of course, if this were to play out and hit like target 4, that's a 60% drop. So that would be, again, lesser to the downside. And even if it hit longer term target 5, similar to 2022, it's only a 68% correction compared to the same target 5 was like 75 or 76%. So if we look at it from over here, from here to here, hitting target 5 at, below $16,000 was 77%, right? 77. And then from over here, you can see that the correction was to here, 84%. So slightly less to the downside, but the move to the upside was considerably less from 2017 to 2021, right? And then again, less on 2025 from bottom to top. So if you go from bottom to top wick, 719%. So it's not that it's bad. It's just not the glory days, right? So if you're buying the right dip like we did at 16,800, at least I did for sure, 16,800, right? So if you go over here to 16,800, the potential is, 650%, of course, not wick to wick. But if you're trying to get like 80% of the move, right? If you're trying to capture 80% of the move. So if the wick to wick is say 700%, yeah, call it 700%, and you're trying to capture 80% of that, what is that? 560%. I don't know. I'd have to do the calculation, but call it 550 to 600% move, right? If you're trying to capture 80% of it, it's probably higher than that. But you get the point, right? So it is possible. So talked about buy the right dip, buy the right dip, buy the right dip, buy the right dip. Oh, wait, there's bullish divergence. 5 targets have been hit. We are back below the 200-week moving average, and now the weekly chart and the daily chart are flipping back bullish at 16,800, and I bought the right dip in hindsight, right? And then it becomes buy the dip season. Buy the dip. Buy the dip. Still buy the dip, but with signs of flipping bearish. There were signs of flipping bearish, but buy the dip. We talked about it back in April that, hey, there's a buy signal on April 11th after bullish divergence, right? And then again, additional bearish divergence, additional reasons why this could be this local top, could be the top. This local top could be the top. And in hindsight, it's looking more and more like the top. Not just because of the daily chart, not just because of the weekly chart, but now the higher time frames are flipping bearish, right? Or have been flipping bearish. So if you look at the 2-week chart, right? 2-week chart, you got the trailing dots flipping bearish on the 2-week chart. This didn't happen back here. This didn't happen back here, but it did happen back here in 2022. So it's going to take time for the ship to get turned around, right? It's a large ship. It's going to take some time for the ship to get turned around. That's the 2-week chart. It's bearish on the 2-week chart. The trending dots have flipped bearish. RSI flipped bearish. Relative strength has been leaving. Relative strength has been decreasing, and then price catches up, right? 3-week chart is bearish. The trending dots have flipped bearish on the 3-week chart. We haven't seen that since April 2022 when it started to go back down to the 200-week moving average. And that still remains my main thesis. Mighty Kirk, good morning. Good morning. Good morning. H. Smith 4100. Hey, hey, what's up? What's up? What's up? So the 3-week chart, sell, buy, sell, sell, blah, 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 all underneath the trending dots, right? There was longer term bearish divergence, and the 3-week chart, the trending dots are flipped red for the first time since 2022, right? So these sells were above the green trending dots. This buy was below the trending dots, right? So it's looking at the overall direction and then building a plan off of that. And we will be there. We will be ready to buy the right dip again. Just as I was over here, just as we talked about over here, just as I closed my position at $61,000 over here on November 2021. I felt like I was late. In hindsight, it wasn't that late. Still hit my goal of 10 to 13% minus the top. So the top minus 10 to 13%, it was like 12.5%. The goal down here was the bottom minus 5 to 8%. We nailed it. And then so on and so on and so on. So the goal again will be to the bottom minus, say, 5 to 8% is a great goal. If it hits 10 to 13% of that, couldn't go wrong with that. But 5 to 8% to buy the right dip. And why is it so important to buy the right dip? Because this time could be different. This time could turn out to be different than 2022. My main thesis is that it won't be, but it could be. And since it could be, I will wait personally to buy the right dip versus dollar cost averaging underneath the 200-week moving average, which has been proven to be a good time to dollar cost average below the 200-week moving average. But what if? And the what if was there for 2022 as well. What if the overall SP 500 stock market, NASDAQ go into a .com bubble like crash or correction, whatever you want to call it, or a 2008 like market crash? Bitcoin has never experienced that. and uh, it's still considered, in my opinion, to be a high risk asset, like a tech stock, and that's the way I still treat it. And so if it were to do that, there could be a larger correction than, say, the 68% that we mapped out to target 5. It could be back to the 84, 86, 88%. Maybe it does a 92% correction like Amazon and dot com bubble. Maybe it does a larger correction. So I will still wait for a higher probability reversal, whether it's at 68%, 75%, 85%, or even 95%. I'll still be looking to buy the right dip. I do not believe Bitcoin goes to zero. I do not think it dies. I think there's too much investment into it. I think there's too much money into it. Um, the negative part about the institutions coming and building uh, the infrastructures around it, there's a lot of positives for price and stuff like that. But uh, some of the negatives would be that they have built leverage on it, and it's great for swing trading. Don't get me wrong, but there are derivatives of Bitcoin. It's not just spot Bitcoin, so they could keep price manipulated for longer than what people think. For example, even gold and silver can go through a 20, 30-year consolidation before it's going into this blow off top. So gold, silver, they all have derivatives as well. And so with derivatives, bigger players can keep price suppressed longer than many people believe. So will that happen with Bitcoin? We don't know. I don't have a magic crystal ball. But it is something to be aware of. And so for that reason, and other reasons, I just choose not to dollar cost average in a bear market. If you're dollar cost averaging, buying the right dip, cool. That's cool. If you're also looking to uh, sell into FOMO and lock in those gains so you can buy more, right? So obviously none of this is financial advice, obviously for educational purposes only, and hopefully have a little bit of fun along the way. So here we are. The 3-week chart is bearish. The trending dots have flipped over, right? And these higher time frames are lagging. The higher the time frame, the more lagging it is. So we had the long-term bearish divergence. It takes time for the monthly chart to play out. We have the RSI sell signal on the monthly chart, not seen since 2021. We had the buy signal not seen since late November. The buy signal before that, June 2019. So the monthly chart is very lagging and it takes time to play out. But this time, price did come back to the trending dots on the monthly chart. That didn't happen back here in April 2025. It didn't happen back in August 2024. It did happen January 2022. It did not happen June 2021. So another reason to chalk up why price will come back to the 200-week moving average. So, but it takes time. It takes time to play out, and we have the charts laid out on the weekly chart, all that stuff of possible timing. Possible timing. Uh, we're sitting at price is sitting at just above longer term target 2. Like I mentioned, price came back to the 200-week moving average in 2022, and that would put price at right about 58,600 ish. Well, where is it at right now? $58,000, right? It's a slow moving target that's slowly increasing. Okay. In the past, it's gone 30% below it in the most recent bear market of 2022. So below that brings you to about target 5. And target 5 was also hit in 2022. Will it get hit again? We don't know, right? We don't know. This chart was put out with Heiken Ashi on October 10th. So you can see October 10th, typical bear markets for Bitcoin has lasted 12 months. If that were to play out again, we'd go from the first week of October to the first week of October 2026. It would be miraculous if it did play out exactly like that again. I'm expecting differences, and I talked about the one downside potential. This is like the possible 2022 would be an amazing scenario if that played out again, right? And if it played out to where it came back to target 5, right? So if it hit target 5, we'd be somewhere down here like this, looking for to buy the right dip. And what an opportunity that would be, right? What another opportunity it would be when all the institutions or the talking heads of those institutions are talking about Bitcoin going to $300,000, Bitcoin going to $250,000, right? That would be awesome. That would be, from $50,000 if we're buying the right dip at $50,000 and price goes to $250,000. Simple math is what, a 5x? That's another great bull run. If we just had 700% and we could do another 500 and it looks programmed in, I'm all for it. Sign me up. I'm all about it. I'm all about it. And of course, even my brother was texting me. Uh, he doesn't follow me on X or anything like that. He's my stepbrother. He's like 8 years older. Uh, but he texted me at like 89,000. He's like, "Hey, let me know when I should buy Bitcoin again at the bottom." And I'm like, "Okay." So I think if I text them and we have bullish divergence and we have higher probability of reversal and all of that, um, and the price is 42,000, 44,000, 45,000, 50,000, whatever it is, or something big has broken in the markets and we see it at 25,000, whatever it is, something major would have to happen in the markets, like a dot-com bubble type crash or uh, the 2008 like crash, for price to come all the way back, which is possible. Um, I would, and if there's a higher probability of a reversal at the same time, I'd probably be the closest thing to going all in, right? I never go all in, but the closest thing to going to all in is if we saw like there would be max fear. There would be Bitcoin is dead, max fear, max fear, max fear. But if we see a higher probability reversal after like a dot-com bubble like crash, I'm gonna be going the closest thing I could do to going all in. So I don't know if we're gonna get that or not. They might just print us out of it similar to 2022 or 2020 or whatever. And if they do that, then maybe it's a lesser percentage to the downside again at 68%. And whether it's there or even lower, or higher, whatever it is, 56,000, I'll be there for it. And I'll be looking to buy the right dip. So that's what we drew this out on October 10th. We've hit 2 targets so far. Uh, the next target would be target 3. That would put price back down to low 70s. When? I don't know. If my thesis plays out correctly, we will hit the 200-week moving average before we make a new all-time high. In hindsight, I would be right, but that's why we speculate, because foresight is greater than hindsight. And see if we continue to snipe in the markets as we have been doing and continue. Will we be perfect? No, we will definitely not be perfect. I lost 6.7% on my path breakout trade. Closed that one. I lost 6.7%. So, not going to be perfect on my setups. Uh, I don't study path as much as I do Bitcoin charts. I don't stare at the Bitcoin charts as much as I do path, right? Not even close. But, uh, you know, I'll never be 100% accurate. I'll never be. But on these higher time frames, uh, these pivot lows, I'm extremely confident I'm going to be buying the right dip again. Just hopefully the market bosses give us bullish divergence again and again, and bearish divergence at the top again and again. And my confidence will remain pretty high, right? So, but that's why we trade path too, to keep me humble. Keep me humble, right? Because we lost on that one, right? 6.7% or whatever it was. It's all in the setups portal, of the setups tab on the portal. So you can find that over here. Close out of here. You can find the dashboard, the screener, setups, community tab, liquidity, recorded coaching, news alerts, intelligence. Um, we might take down the liquidity and the news for if we take it. We haven't decided yet, but if we take it down for a brief moment, it's not because it's going away forever. It's because we would revamp it and we would bulk it up. We would make it better. We would make it like more of a beast mode. And it's lower priority for me because I don't pay attention to the news personally myself on what's happening, but you could. And of course we added charts to it. So you click on the charts with the corresponding article, and then you could click on it and read the full article. So uh anywho, but yeah, this is all included in the $49 market. The AI intelligence coming soon. It's already built into the screener, which we haven't released that portion of it. But again, you can filter out all the assets, stocks, crypto, ETF, and it's going to take time, but we're going to continue to add more and more and more. I think we're at what, 8,800 ish, and I think we're going to get to like 20,000 in the near future. And we don't need penny stocks and all that stuff, and they're harder to buy and sell anyways because I think you have to buy them on like you can buy them through your broker, but it's like pink slip, and then it's harder to get filled and all that. So I don't think we're going to do penny stocks, but 20,000 is more than enough to find. And then if you click on one, for example, it takes you to the actual charts, and it actually charts it for you. I didn't chart any of this. It's all built into the screener. And you can see that it draws the trend lines for you. It shows the bullish divergence, on the MACD, all that stuff. The blue is oversold, the red is bearish, the green is bullish, and orange is overbought, right? So it's all built in. This one, for example, is way below the 200-week moving average. Very, very bearish territory. So as an example, you could push it through to TradingView if you want to, right? Whatever you have your TradingView settings on, it'll push it through to it. And it'll have the sniper alerts. And of course, analyze this chart for FMC. And this is not rolled out to the market snipers yet. We're still testing it. We're still beta testing it. And we've trained it on the 78 plus hours of recorded coaching. We've traded it on 7,500 plus chart posts that I've done in the Discord over the years. And it comes up with the whole analysis for you. So Uh, that's all included into the portal. And we have some crazy ideas rolling out soon that we're beta testing on the screener itself. Most likely going to have a probability score that the next breakout or breakdown, whatever you're trading, bullish or bearish, will have a probability score from 0 to 100 of the likelihood that it works out. It'll have price targets with the actual numbers and all that drawn for you. So it's and then of course you can set the alerts, you can set up the trading bot to it, all that stuff. So it's all going to be all encompassing, and it just takes time and money. I reinvest way too much money into this, building up the market sniper tools. So for $49, and we probably could have had all this faster, but it does cost money. And you know, every time we call an API, every time we run data, every time we run the AI, every time we do that, it costs money. So if you're getting in for $49 a month, if I charged more, we could probably put these tools on faster. But we'll do it slowly, methodically, and just know that if you're investing the $49 for tools to use yourself, you're also investing into me building out more tools. So I have a lot of crazy ideas, and Alex, shout out to Alex, is helping me uh turn these crazy ideas into reality. So love it, love it, love it. You can manage your own subscription, cancel anytime. There's no obligation. It's up to you if you find value or not. And with that, that's Bitcoin. That's the weekly chart. That's the Heikinashi. Those are the candles, the 2-week chart, 3-week chart, monthly chart. We will cover some of the others on for requests. Interested in your thoughts on ASM, Australian Strategic Minerals, on the ASX. We'll take a look at it. Stick around. Thanks for putting all the details, H. Smith, so that I can search for it quickly. Okay. But in 2025, there was a good pump in the beginning of the year. Why not now in the first half of February? Well, I mean, my response is if this was similar to middle of 2021, this is similar to the end of 2021. So you did get a pump, right? So that pump was another 69%. So I think this is similar to May, June, July of 2021. Lesser drop, 32% versus like 52%, followed by a lesser pump of 69% up. So this is similar to, November 2021. This is similar to May, June, July of 2021, in my opinion, right? So that's why. Sean, thank you, Sean. I appreciate that. Thanks, Sean, for reposting the stream. Yep, yep, yep. You got it. You got it. That's why I think that. If you look back at it, right? April, May, June, July, January, February, March, and then pump up November 2021, pump up to October 2025, and now it's rolling over. Now it's rolling over. So to me, here and here, here and here, different, but a lot of similarities. So the bullish divergence, the breakout, maybe we get bullish divergence again, breakout. That would be great. That would be great. And I said all of through 2022, yep, all of 2022, I said on X and the Discord, I was saying, please, market bosses, give us one more bull run with bullish divergence. Please, market bosses, I was begging for it. Give us bullish divergence at the bottom for the next bull run. Please, 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 please. I said that all through this breakdown. and they gave us that, right? I said, "Please give us bearish divergence at the top again," and they did. Bearish divergence. So, please, market bosses, give us bullish divergence at the bottom again. Please. I beg you. I beg you. We're not the market bosses. We just try to be the cleaner fish on the market bosses. If they're a shark, we just try to be the cleaner fish that scoop up all the extras off of the shark. Ivan the Great. Good morning, Jesse. No requests today. Have a great day. Oh, nice. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate that. So we have one request, but let's take a look. Let's get off of log. Let's get off of the Heikinashi. I just like to look at different views. HODL, breaking down Bitcoin futures. Bitcoin against gold is ultra bearish on the weekly chart. The downward sloping 200-week moving average has never happened in the history of Bitcoin against gold. That is new. That is something different. That's something to pay attention to. We will keep an eye on it. Drew up the bear flag on the weekly chart. So this would be more like the longer pull. And then I had a shorter pull based off of the daily chart. We'll come to there, but right. So if it's like that, these were the trending dots trajectory. Kind of. Doesn't look great. I mean, the trajectory changes with time, but the main thesis is still the main thesis, and the reason why I had the magnet here is maybe end of March or April we could see, or maybe even early May, price retesting the 200-week moving average. So it's possible. It's possible, but we are heading in the wrong direction of Bitcoin retesting the highs, making new all-time highs, and Bitcoin increasing to $180,000 Bitcoin by the end of January, or $250,000 Bitcoin back in October by the end of 2025, right? We're heading in the wrong direction. So better late than never, but London, UK National Sexy News, aka Lawrence, what's up? What's up? What's up? Thanks for always reposting the stream on X and YouTube. I appreciate that. Helps out the algorithms, Lawrence. So weekly chart, 200-week moving average, right? Still in a downtrend. Ethereum, Chainlink a link, Cardano. Now the trending dots has even closed below the 200-week moving average. Last time that happened, it was August 2022, right? It went down another 61%. That would be insane. I don't even think you can go down that far. 12 cents? That would be crazy. So, bear market until proven otherwise. Downtrend until proven otherwise on Cardano. And the weekly chart started to flip bearish even more so when the 200-week moving average started to downward slope. So continue to watch it. Downward slope on Algo, H-bar, XLM, near, right? MicroStrategy. Let me fix that. Back to being ultra bearish. Was that it for the bounce? Oh, expect bounces, but expect those bounces to get sold off. Sometimes I'm too optimistic on those bounces, but I mean, it bounced to what, $190, but sometimes I hope for more. But when it's ultra bearish on the higher time frames, expect those bounces to get sold off. And here we are back to $157. And this Adam and Eve double top pattern broke here. That was the confirmation line, as you can see over here with the diagram, the chart. And we talked about it way back here, the Adam and Eve double top pattern. That's what it was looking like to me. We had the bearish engulfing candle on the weekly chart. Then I pointed out that we had a weekly close below this pivot point, signaling that the probabilities were increasing. We're coming back down here. Once we get, assume we get price back below the 200-week moving average, then it's possible that we see prices as low as $75, which would be what, another 50% lower from current price, right? 51%. And from wick to wick, 85% that happened in the last bear market. The last time it was the canary in the coal mine, it was down 89%. So here we go again. That's MicroStrategy. Let's see, NASDAQ futures, daily chart. Maybe not an Adam and Eve double top pattern. It broke above that, right? So assuming it closes above here, then probably not. SP 500, lower high, not yet. Not yet. No lower high as of yet. So we'll see where it closes. We will see. Gold continues to be ultra bullish on the daily chart. I know a lot of people were talking about and celebrating that, it was breaking down and uh and then it just flips right back around, right? So a lot of people are celebrating that it dropped from what, 5100 to 5015, because they're hoping that the reason why they're celebrating is they probably don't have any gold. They're probably not trading gold, and they really want Bitcoin to turn around. So it's hopium, copium, whatever you want to call it. So they're cheering for it, for gold to break down stuff, or silver for that matter, right? So it's getting very wicky at the top here, 12%. So eventually it's going to retest the trending dots on the daily chart. And so it could consolidate, just knowing that the higher time frames are still ultra bullish. Is this the top? Is it going to consolidate for a longer period of time? Is it going to let the monthly trending dots catch up eventually? Is that going to happen now? Maybe. But personally, I wouldn't be shorting it, but it could put in bearish divergence, could have continued bearish divergence, meaning higher highs, right? So higher highs, bearish divergence, right? It could take time to play out. Lets the trending dots kind of catch up. Lets the monthly charts kind of catch up and even out a little bit. So I wouldn't, it's getting very wicky. So it's something to keep an eye on. But could have future bearish divergence, right? But as of right now, it might not be done yet. Will this be the all-time high for, just a month, couple of months, a year, a couple of years before a next possible bigger move higher? Maybe. Maybe. right? So it is possible that there's a bigger move coming in a couple of years, right? And that was based off of a fractal that was taken from the 70s to 1980, right? So it took 10 years to play out. Um, you can see it if I switch to log, right? So put this fractal on a couple of months ago, right? A couple of months ago. So wherever it peaks out at could consolidate, and then the next move, the next breakout, the next new all-time high could send it much higher, right? So we will see. We will see. We have the cup and handle pattern, $558 ish, and but that might not happen till 2032, 6 more years, right? So, it's not like it's an altcoin that's going to happen tomorrow. You know, that's gold, that's silver, dollar is dropping, which means it's probably the reason why Bitcoin hasn't dropped more and why Bitcoin is dropping a lot versus gold, but not a lot versus the dollar because the dollar is also dropping, right? So since the dollar is also dropping is ultra bearish, that's probably why the chart on Bitcoin hasn't dropped more. So we've talked about that. So if we did like Bitcoin versus the euro, let's say BTC, uh, just pick any of them. Let's see, right? As an example, let's take a look at it. So Bitcoin versus the euro it seems more bearish, right? Yeah, down 1.8% versus down 1% because against the dollar because the dollar has dropped more. So it definitely looks more bearish against gold. It looks more bearish against the euro, but against the dollar, I mean, uh, but not as bearish as against the dollar. So, um, trying to hold on for support over here for right now. But so the thesis is correct. It's because the dollar is also dropping that Bitcoin's not dropping more. So hold on tight. If the dollar reverses while Bitcoin's going down, you could see against the dollar go down a bigger percentage. So right now against gold, it is dropping. So and against the euro, it's dropping more than it is against the dollar. What else? Platinum. There's bearish divergence on platinum. So even though it's buy the dip season, as of right now, there is bearish divergence. So it might give you the next breakout, may take some time, right? So buy the dip season, we have bearish divergence right now. So at the very least, it seems like price is going to come back and retest the trailing dots, which it hasn't done since December 31st. Palladium looks like bearish divergence, probably. It is. So a lot of similarities, right? A lot of people wanting to buy metals now after huge runs, right? And yes, it could remain buy the dip season, but doesn't mean it's not going to have a pullback shorter term, wherever that is. So we'll see how it develops. Uranium, ultra bullish as of right now. Copper, bearish divergence on copper. So all things to consider. What else? Magnificent Seven. Oh my goodness. UNH. Oh, the market bosses are just so ruthless. Oh, I'm not in a UNH trade, but pump it up right before the close on positive earnings. Oh my god. I've seen this playbook so many times. Or break it down on bearish earnings and reverse it back up. I mean, this is why I don't trade fundamentals, right? Uh, you have oversold, you have negative earnings, it's ultra bearish, and it flips around, right? You have it pumping up, it's bullish, positive earnings, and they gap it down. So uh, there you go. There you go. Netflix, Dow Jones, ANF, positive earnings. This time they gapped it up overnight. Still didn't give you an entry. Like you could have taken an entry there if you close out here with the bearish engulfing candle or whatever the case may be. But then they gap it down again, right? So, whew, PLTR, Meta, Tesla breaking down. Looks like the Wyckoff distribution, in my opinion. You had a candle close below the upward trend line. This could be follow through. If so, could see lower prices. You got a small gap down there. The Russell, SP 500 holding on for now. NASDAQ holding on for now. NVIDIA. There's a miniature gap up here. Could fill it. Amazon holding on. Apple back above the train dots. Was getting oversold as we were talking about it. Microsoft bouncing, hit 3 of the 4 targets so far to the downside. You do have a decent gap at 396. So that's that. Bum, bum, bum. So if this is going to be the next buy the dip on Cydius space, for example, you know, means it could probably have correction. However, the price action plays out, right? Builds up energy and then breaks out. So that's if you're bullish on it. You would have less aggressive, right? And then maybe builds up some more energy. And then you would have like more aggressive. So that's kind of the way I see it. In phase, ultra bullish on the daily chart. Weekly chart just had a buy signal on the weekly chart. Uh, it's well below the 200-week moving average. Deviations below. Could come back for a retest whenever that happens. We don't know how long it takes. We don't know. There's bullish divergence on the daily chart. There's a lot of reasons. I'm sorry, on the 2-week chart. There's a lot of reasons why we could see this continue to play out and retest the 200 on in phase. Bullish divergence, pump, dump. Don't forget to lock in profits along the way, right? So bullish divergence, try to capture 80% of the move. You're looking at 40, 50, 60%, whatever the case may be. And if you just only did the buy and the sell, you're probably not going to make too much. 9%, right? So starts breaking back down quickly. Could be putting in a higher low, and then maybe it bounces again after that, giving another opportunity for another bounce. We'll see. That'd be a massive bounce up to the 200-week moving average if it ever happens, right? If that were to happen, 175%. Bum, bum, bum. Bullish divergence could be a higher low. super microcomputer. Got a lot of gaps up here that could be filled. Double bottom, right? Hive, Target, PayPal getting crushed. Lemonade hit 3 out of 4 longer term targets so far. Rivian dropping, probably going to fill. Oh, it looks like it's an old gap. DocuSign, PGY. Seems like it probably wants to come back more. Unity, Path, T-Dot, all that, right? Those are high risk setups, tech stocks that don't take very much to move them. So you can see that Bitcoin against the dollar isn't dropping as much because of the dollar, but similarly, if you look at the breakdown of a similar trend line, right, or the more aggressive trend line, you can see all that. But ASX, it was, what was it? ASM. Okay. All right, let's do a request, and then I guess we'll call it a day. At least on the live stream, we'll call it a day. ASM, Australian Strategic Minerals on ASX. There we go. Yeah, see, if you didn't put in all the details, I probably charted the wrong one, right? So thank you for putting in all the details. I appreciate that. So there is a huge move. This looks like a huge move, right? 250% in a short period of time. We're talking about 12 bars or 16 days to retest the 200. Then it dropped 73%. And then buy signal, and then they gapped it up, right? So even from here, that's another 155%. It's ultra bullish. Sometimes when the magic happens, as you can see with the magic wand, but also it could be overbought. And now you have a big gap down here, right? That was a huge gap. So are they going to fill that gap? 68% gap. Eventually, when? I don't know. But as of right now, the daily chart is ultra bullish. Could be a pump and dump, pump and dump. It's possible, right? Weekly chart is ultra bullish. It was over here too, and then dumped, right? So it could come back. That's a pretty big gap, at least a partial fill, maybe. 2-week chart is ultra bullish, right? When is that candle? So like 5 days it's closing. So if it closes ultra bullish, that's a positive. 3-week chart already had a buy signal and back above the 200-week moving average, which is a positive. Buy signal pending would close in a couple of days. I guess February 2nd on here. It's kind of odd. But maybe it's because it's Australia and it's a different time zone, right? So there are positives. It hasn't made new all-time highs like silver or gold or anything like that. So not exactly sure what the strategic materials are. Maybe it tells you. You probably know. But maybe they do buy silver and gold and copper or whatever minerals, strategic materials, not necessarily minerals. So yeah, there are some positives, but it's a wild animal, right? It's a wild animal. So it may be difficult to trade because you're like buy and then it dumps. Like a huge pump, dump. Huge pump, even with the massive gap up, and then it could dump after that. So could be a wild animal. Is a wild animal. But there are a lot of positives, even if there is a huge gap down here where maybe it fills the gap first or partially fills it first and then goes higher after that. So, woo! With that, uh, what else? Yeah, Bitcoin still watching the same thing on Bitcoin. So, with that, I think we're gonna call it here. Thank you for all of your support. Thank you for smashing the like button, the reposting, the restreaming, all of that. We'll continue to sniper the markets together, and we'll see you tomorrow on the next live stream. Thank you. Adios.